all the people don't show up anymore at the farms. So they're hiding from ICE because they know they're going to get smacked by ICE if they go work in the farms. So now Trump turns around and says he's going to revise the laws about the immigrants working on the farms. You know why he's doing this? He's doing this because he wants to snag more. So he's going to say, no, we're not going to arrest them anymore like he did last time, and he still do arrest them. And he's going to go and snag everybody that's going to show up. So it's a decoy just to grab the people to have his numbers that he wants to deport every day, you know? So don't be coiled by that, and watch out when you go to the farms.
Y'all, this gringa literally just come up with the best idea in the history of the United States of America. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard Florida, Las Vegas, Texas, and several other states are in a workers' crisis. They say they have a workers' deficit because they are lacking workers in the construction, hotel, farming, restaurant industry because of all of these mass deportations, right? They are in desperate need of workers. Well, we all know that a lot of MAGA supporters were screaming and shouting that, oh, all of these Hispanic people were taking their jobs. They're stealing our jobs. They're taking our jobs. Well, right now, in these states, there's plenty of jobs open, but nobody wants to do them. They enjoy drawing benefits and reaping benefits without having to work. Seems to be a very common problem. So here's my idea to help this situation. Anybody that gets benefits but are perfectly able to work should be mandated to work. So we need to start detaining those individuals and bringing them to those job sites to do those jobs if they are getting benefits yet not employed. That's what we need to do. They need to be forced to work. We need to round them up, force them to work. If they don't have any work ethic, or if they complain and don't want to do these jobs that nobody seems to desire, then we need to withdraw their benefits. Because what are they doing for the United States of America if they are not being productive citizens of this country? We need to withdraw their benefits. And if withdrawing their benefits does not give them a work ethic, then we need to start detaining, rounding them up, and deporting them to third world countries where they literally have to start from zero, see how privileged they actually were in the United States of America, and gain a work ethic there. Who's in agreement? Let's make America great again.
I just went down the rabbit hole of watching a couple dozen videos of farmers that are on the brink of bankruptcy thanks to Donald Trump pulling the rug out from underneath them by not honoring promises made by the Biden administration, because God knows he can't honor some other president's decision. So that's where we're at. Most of these farmers that I'm seeing, it's like the level of regret for their vote is pretty extraordinary. I mean, they're basically saying they're off the Trump train. All right, good. I'm glad you learned your lesson. I'm sorry it's too late. But then there's also this like small contingency of farmers, it seems, that are almost giving him the benefit of the doubt, like it was some kind of an oopsie and that he's going to fix it. I mean, I don't know. At this point, it's not just about farmers. I think everybody's got to take a really good look at this and realize what's happening. This is on purpose. This is your government trying to hurt you. This is your government saying, I'm going to put you in a situation where you will very likely have to start selling off your equipment and potentially your farm. And if you're doing that, you know, guess who's going to scoop them up? It's not a question. It's these corporations that are headed up by his largest political donors. It's not that hard to follow the breadcrumbs here. So why do you think he's doing it? He's doing it because it's a favor to his political donors who want to buy your farm for pennies on the dollar. That's why it's happening. So just know that your government is actively trying to put you into dire straits so that you'll give up everything you have. so that they can buy it cheap. So if you've got a 5th generation organic soybean farm, they want it. I'm quite sure Monsanto will buy it and pump the ground full of Roundup and no problem. And it's not just farmers. That's just who we're talking about today. It's going to be everybody. He has no problem cutting veteran benefits. He has no problem cutting health benefits, Medicaid, Medicare. They're going to go after Social Security. If there was ever a more clear indication that this government doesn't value you, me, and its citizens as people, find me a more clear example. And don't tell me about Hunter Biden's laptop or Hillary's emails. It's amazing how many times you can bring up these incredibly egregious things that this administration is doing, and the Trumpers still come back with like, well, at least he's not part of the Biden crime family. I'm like, okay. How was your farm under the Biden crime family? How's our economy? How are our institutions? Who does it help by eliminating the Department of Education? I still do not understand anyone who continues to back him. Granted, every day it's fewer and fewer people, but they're still there, more resolved than ever. And I think at some point people need to pay attention.
Well. Let me tell y'all what I heard today. So, the lobbyist groups for the farmers are proposing another bailout of $16 billion. The last time Syphilitic Sid did this in his first administration, they received a whopping $24 billion in bailouts. Well, this time around, Syphilitic Sid said he doesn't know if he can do that. He's not sure that that's something that they can accommodate. Look, I love the farmers. The farmers are wonderful. They farm, right? They farm. But, we're trying to cut fraud and waste and a lot of unnecessary spending. So now these people and their lobbyists are trying to get bailouts. But what I want to understand is, what happened to you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps? What happened to we voted for him because he's a great businessman? What happened to we're going to put our trust in him because he's going to help us? Help y'all do what exactly? Lose your farms? Yes, that part. Because you know who invests in these companies that buy up bankrupted farms? Your vice president. So, to all you farmers that voted for this, thinking it was going to be like the last time and he was going to give y'all a bailout and y'all would get those subsidies to support yourselves and your farms and your families, it's not coming. Not this time around. It's not coming. You can just forget it. So, I wish you well. I hope it works out for you. Maybe, somebody can whisper in his ear and change his mind. You might want to reach out to Ivanka because she's his favorite and he listens to her, I guess. But they're not really speaking, ever since the insurrection. But I don't know. This is just word on the street. It's just gossip, but you didn't hear it from me. But, good luck.
All right, folks, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Thank you so much for always come back to watch our video. I always appreciate your support. Now, in today's topic, we are going to discuss about the Florida farmers. Now, recently we've discussed about Texas farmers, how they are finding out, how they are regretting, and how they are questioning their choices because of what they did. Okay, same as Florida farmers, because Listen, when ICE was targeting illegal immigrants, it affected huge number of people and many states. So also Florida have been affected by lacking of manpowers, lacking of workers, because those illegal immigrants were the one working in those firms. But those people, they are no longer, attend work. They are no longer showing up at work because they are fearing ICE. And not only these immigrants, but also even those who are illegally. Even those who are legally, they are scared going out to work because, man, ICE might deport them. Okay, so right now it is a finding out. Now these Florida farmers, they are questioning, they're asking what's going on, what happened, but they are forgetting that they did this. They are forgetting that they are the one who brought all this here. They are forgetting that, the guy told them that he's going to do it. He told you that he's going to deport 1 million people. And you guys, you've forgotten about that. And recently we've seen lack of laborers and lack of workers in different states, mostly in Texas, Nebraska, Florida, and Iowa, and other many states. Which means, man, these are finding out for the farmers. Guys, let me tell you, farmers are the most lovely peoples. Farmers, they do a hard work for us. They produce food for us. We always need food in our lives, so we always depend on farmers. But then these farmers, sometimes I think they don't love themselves. I think they don't care about themselves. Sometimes I think they don't even think about their future, because the farms they have, it's most of them, their generation of farms from their ancestors who take care of those farms from long time ago. So they keep those farms, till now, but they still vote, or they still cause problems to themselves, where they should just, take care of those farms and then produce food for people. So there are no workers to work in those farms. We've seen in Texas, there are no workers. In Nebraska, the same. So all these things are happening to farmers because of what they did, because of the choices they did. Now, food are going to rot in the farms. Of course, it is going to happen because there is no people to pick those crops. There is no immigrants that are going to pick those crops. And you remember MAGA claimed that, we don't have jobs. They are taking our jobs. MAGA, that is the thing they claimed. They claimed that we no longer have jobs. Right now, jobs are available, but they are not willing to go to work because working there is so hard and the payment is little. So the MAGA, they cannot go and work in those firms, whom they are the one who claimed that they are taking their what? Their farms. So now right now as we speak, Florida is also facing the same situation as Texas and other states because of ICE. And we've also seen that in Florida, they are building also like a detention center for these immigrants. This thing is going to, I think, that's my thought, that is going to affect Florida, big. Because if you build a detention center, people are gonna, migrate from Florida to other places. I'm talking about maybe immigrants, because they'll be scared to be detentioned in that area. Okay, and the area that people are going to be detention, man, is a worst area, is the bad area, which is, surrounded by crocodiles, surrounded by, dangerous animals. So it means even the migrants, they'll be scared to go to work there. They'll be scared to go to live there. So Florida is going to face such reality. It's going to face, this, lack of labor because of their choices. So undocumented immigrants and even some legal workers fearing to be arrested, detention, or deportation have left Florida in droves. Entire community that were once hubs for farm workers have reportedly become like empty. There is no works there, with empty, empty farms, because there is no people to harvest or to do like farm workers, because man, farm workers is not an easy job. And these immigrants were being paid like pennies. They are being paid little. So they were doing like hard work where people right now, they cannot afford to go to work there, which is so strange when it comes to farmers. And I always think, and I always ask myself, what were you thinking when the guy told you that he's going to deport millions of people? That on the first day he's going to deport people. What was your thoughts? So that maybe you should know what was your plans. Now, as we speak, crops are going to rot in the farm. With a drastically reduced workforce, farmers are unable to harvest their crops. This leads to a significant financial losses as produce rots in the fields, directly impacting farmers' livelihoods and potentially the state food supply. Which I always mentioned that these states might face food shortage because if the food rots in the farms, it is going to affect huge number. Okay, so it is going to affect big number of people. Okay, and they are going to import food, so it's going to affect these states badly. So that is one of the effects. Okay, and we know here to support illegal immigrants. No, I don't support illegal immigrants. People, they're supposed to be legal. They're supposed to be legal workers. They're supposed to work legally and be in the country legally. There is no any country in the world that can support illegal immigrants. But again, okay, there might be a way these people may be helped, okay, to be legal so that they can follow the rules, because these people are not criminals. For real, they are not criminals. So there might be a way to make them legally. But what I've seen is that these farmers have ignored the immigrants. And remember, immigrants were they were the base of their works. Because weather condition, they just go and work. Whether there is sun or whether there is what, they go and work. So these immigrants, they were one of the important thing in the farm industry in these states, which helped them even to get big production. So they might be a way to make these immigrants like legally, so that they can work and keep working there. Right now, there's no workers, and you cannot hire like legal people because they cannot work for that money. Because listen, farming is it can be like quite seasonal thing. Okay, so there are seasons where you need more workers, so you hire them. But it's hard to find those workers because they have other jobs they're doing and they're getting paid well than the way they should come to work in your farm, and you pay them pennies. Yeah. So it means it is going to affect these farmers, man, in a big number. So they cannot even try to attract new workers because, the cost is the high cost, because you're going to pay. There are things that you require as an employer to employ someone. So that's why, you were depending on immigrants and you voted to deport them. So they are no longer here. They are no longer going to work in those farms, which is going to cause food shortage, and people are going to suffer because there is no food. There are going to be no food. So this is a finding out phase. You F around, you find out. But on the other side, it's very sad because, man, listen, people have worked so hard. People have spent a lot of money, and then they face this. And the guy they trusted, he told you that he's going to deport people. But you guys, you are joking, you are enjoying. Same as tariffs. You thought, tariffs are going to affect Canada. They're going to affect Mexico. They're going to affect China. But it directly affected you. You face that, reality. So that is the farmers, man. That's the stories of the farmers. It is so hard right now. It's 2025, man. But people voted against their own interest. now are facing their harsh reality because of what they did, because of their choices. Because of their choices. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about these farmers, whether in Nebraska, Texas, Florida, and other places? And let's keep our conversation in comments below. I am your presenter, Fikazo. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.